Manchester United's contingency plan if Erik ten Hag doesn't meet the mark with Ineos over the next few months. More reports coming out, inevitable reports coming out about the managers that could possibly be on that list again. Yes, that list. We talk about it because the reports are coming out. I'm going to go into where the reports have come from, read the reports to you. You make up your own mind again, as always. But as United fans, we have to discuss everything that's going on with the club right now. And it is all about Ten Hag. Ten Hag has been trending for about 3 days since he came out of his comments before the City game, before the Liverpool game, after the Liverpool game, and the day after the Liverpool game. It is just all on what he has said. And this is how much it's hit home in what Manchester United's reality is with Erik ten Hag in charge. And I think this is why everybody is talking about it still and has got such a big opinion on it. We're going to discuss all of that. Casemiro's wages and his contracts. How much has he actually lost? How much has Casemiro actually been deducted out of his wages? And what are United actually paying out compared to everyone else right now? Interesting stats coming out about that as well. And let's get into all of your live chat as well, guys. Get your comments in. Keep the conversation rolling in the live chat. Get your questions over to me at any point you want to make. Look, I know there's going to be loads of people that are not happy with this video. Loads of people that just think it's just talking about Ten Hag, doom and gloom merchant again. Well, no, it's just a reality. This is what happens in football. People just need to get a little bit of a grip with themselves in terms of how they look at what is a negative look on things and what the reality of things are. United are underperforming. He's already on a tightrope, Ten Hag. He hasn't got a new contract off Ineos yet. We had the quotes that came out this morning about what Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada was saying. And we've seen the reaction after the game, after them quotes were actually brought from an interview before, like we discussed this morning, before the Liverpool game. So let's break it all down and put it all together in a show, shall we? And get into what's actually going on. Please give the video a like. Let's get them likes right up there, everybody. We need to get up over 800 at least in this video. It is our midday live show, our interactive show, so let's get on to it. And please make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. We do all of these live videos talking about all topics United. We did a good one yesterday on what Casemiro was saying. Loads of people have reacted to that one. Thank you for that. We like to look at things in detail and not just bring up the headlines. This is a headline, but we like to talk about the detail that brought the headline. And that's why we're talking Thomas Tuchel this morning. Where did this story come from? How has it come about? And what do you think? I don't turn on the comments right now because I know what's coming my way. But you know what? You've got to laugh it off and just say, look, some people just don't want to hear it. I understand it, but we want to talk about everything and we have to be open to every conversation with Manchester United. So let's get into what's actually gone down and what's actually been said then. Look, the stories come from the Mirror newspaper. And it reads this. The Dutchman faced a nervous wait in the summer to see if he would be retained. The new United hierarchy opted to stick to Ten Hag and spent the summer underlining their desire to back him, making numerous signings, and his coaching staff also had a reshuffle. Many of this last season's problems are still evident, however, with the Dutchman already facing difficult questions, struggling to answer them as well. In terms of the United hierarchy, as we said this morning from that comment and the article from the Mirror, they didn't add into that United's CEO Omar Barada and sporting director Dan Ashworth are both out of the equation when it came to the decision to keep in Ten Hag. That's what they have said personally, and we know this for certain from the interview that happened with both of them before the Liverpool game that the British media have released in quotes this morning. That's what the morning show was about. So, in terms of the United hierarchy and what's been said in this article, that didn't include Omar Barada or Dan Ashworth. So, who made the decision? I don't know if Ashworth and Barada were actually involved in it. We don't know, but we're just going to have to go with what they said. The reverse against Liverpool exposed the lack of playing style that despite the manager having more than 2 years in the role, despite having more than 2 years in the role, I should say, contingency plans have been drawn up should the worst case scenario play out, with Tuchel the club's ideal target. Now, are we actually drawing up a contingency plan? You'd expect Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, the Manchester United board, the hierarchy, everybody actually having a plan. Do you know what? When you are a properly run football club, you need a backup plan. You can't just decide to go, oh, bang, there goes a manager. Talks will be going on. Look, it's inevitable. People said it was a disgrace how talks were going on behind Ten Hag's back in the summer. Look, I went against it and said, what do you want them to do? Like, they're a properly run football club now, Manchester United, and they're going to be speaking to other people. They need a plan B. They need a backup plan. It's as simple as that. And Thomas Tuchel is the one that's obviously in line. He is a free agent right now. And Manchester United obviously had him on the list and spoke to him last summer. Look, the only reason that everybody thinks it's bad that United were talking to other managers in the summer is because it got leaked out that we was. If nobody knew about it, then no one would have an issue with it. But it's United. And, of course, this is what every single club does with a proper football structure in place. There needs to be a contingency. There needs to be another plan. The article goes on to say, he left Bayern Munich at the end of last season, which saw the Bavarians go without a trophy. Previously, though, Tuchel has impressed at the likes of Borussia Dortmund, PSG and Chelsea, where he won the Champions League. Discussions were held between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Tuchel in the summer before he opted to stick with Ten Hag. One man that the Red Devils are unlikely to pursue, as per the Daily Mail, is Gareth Southgate. He has just called time on his 8-year stint as England boss. The ex-Free Lions manager has numerous admirers within the Premier League, and it is keen to prove himself as a club manager, but it is likely to take some time away in the immediate aftermath of his England spell. So, you may be disappointed that Tuchel's on the agenda right now, but still, at least it's not Gareth Southgate. That's the big plus. I'll just read on more on this so you guys are completely up to date with everything that's been said. Despite the speculation, Ten Hag has underlined the fact he is the right man to deliver success at United. He has delivered trophies in both his seasons at the helm, although last term it fails to cover over his horrendous Premier League campaign. CEO Omar Barada has said Erik Ten Hag has our full backing, and we have worked very closely together, as Dan has said before, as in quoting Dan Ashworth. In this transfer window, we're going to continue working very closely with him to help him get the best results out of the team. Do we still believe in Erik? Absolutely. We think Erik is the right coach for us, and we're fully backing him. So, anyone who's got a problem with that, I really do question where you're at right now. Honestly, yes, Tuchel is in line for Manchester United. If Ten Hag fails, Omar Barada, Manchester United, Dan Ashworth, everybody who's come out so far has said, look, we're fine with Erik Ten Hag. I've said it all along. I think that Manchester United will see out the season with Ten Hag. I do. I think we will see Erik Ten Hag until we drop out of the Europa League, or it is mathematically impossible to make Champions League. He has to hit that mark this season. Otherwise, it's bye-bye for Erik. Well, look, the club have come out and backed him. So there's nothing wrong with that. The club have also probably got a contingency plan going on. This is just being reported because the journalists are jumping onto anything that they can get. But this will be happening. We have to accept it as a fan base that, you know what? Things sometimes don't work out with managers. Sometimes you have to just go down the road of getting a backup plan in place. It's normal football procedure, people. Don't let it stress you out. Don't let it concern you. If we just sacked Ten Hag on the spot and had no one lined up, everyone would be kicking up an absolute stink. Look, Tuchel's not working, and it's an obvious one that they're going to bring up because we spoke to him before. At least we're just moving away from Gareth Southgate. Look, that's where we need to be looking at this as a positive, I think, that the club are just organised. That's all it is for me. I think the club being organised is a positive for all the fan base. Look, we're not going to be the United of old where we're actually, scraping around last minute because we've made a knee-jerk reaction decision. This will be done properly. I think Ineos will have their time, as in when it's time to make this call if Ten Hag doesn't hit a certain mark. I do think it's still unrealistic that, and a lot of people have said this, and for anyone having a go at me, you only have to watch the show I did last night with Flex on the United View as well, arguing against everyone. Everyone's like, I'll give him till December, I'll give him till after this international break. A lot of people are saying after the international break, that'll be the time. Look, I think if the results are really bad, then Ineos will make a decision. They're not going to just wait around. They can't just forget about this season. I think the European games are going to be key to this, very key to this. But I do think, and looking at it, that Manchester United right now are happy with the way things are. They're still in the fight for the Champions League places. It's only 3 games in. And of course, you're going to get a newly appointed CEO, a newly appointed director of football coming out and backing the man that's in charge of the team right now. But what they did do is cover themselves, like we said this morning. And they said, look, we are just taking the burden and the workload off Ten Hag so we can concentrate on the training ground and getting the best out of the team on the pitch. So that's the realistic line. Like, the lines of Manchester United looking for other managers in other reports in the media come from what has been said by the likes of Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada. It's a CEO and a director of football organising a mess that this club was in and actually planning for the future. The future isn't going to... We all know that the future is not going to be with Ten Hag going down the line for years to come. I've no chance for me that Ten Hag is the man that picks up that title, that first title for Manchester United, and God knows how many years it's going to be. I just don't think he's got it in him to win the Premier League. I've said that. I made it clear. But I've also said at the same time, he has got at least something in him to get us back into the Champions League, which is the next stage for Ineos and the development of this Manchester United team and where we're at right now. That's what's important. I think we have to just remind ourselves that we are not ready. Bruno Fernandes has come out and said, I am aware that this club and this squad is not capable of winning the league. He said it after the Liverpool game. Not many people picked up on that. And this is a man who has spoken with Ineos and just signed a new contract and said afterwards that I wasn't asking for them to say, look, we're going to win. We're going to buy a squad that's going to win the Champions League. I wasn't saying we need to be winning the Champions League in the next 2 seasons or the Premier League. I just wanted to know that they had in their interest and they were going to back Manchester United or whoever was in charge to give them the best opportunity and him the best opportunity. So Bruno Fernandes knows what Ineos are doing. They've obviously laid the play. He just signed a new contract. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed it, would he? So Bruno knows. Ten Hag knows. Look, like you ask Ten Hag, he's not stupid. He knows he's under pressure. And if he doesn't hit a mark this season that Ineos would have told him, it's adios. See you later, Eric. So Tuchel coming in. That we're going to discuss other managers at some point this season. At several points probably this season. Whenever the chips are down and the results are bad for Manchester United, you know the conversations are coming up. But we have to be ready to make a move if it does go completely wrong. Look, Ten Hag can come back and beat Southampton, Palace and Spurs, and no one's even talking about it. We move forward. He has turned it around. Agate fits in nicely. Lenny Yoro is off crutches and he's ahead of recovery time as well. And we've got players coming back like Luke Shaw after the international break, apparently. Malacia coming back in October. Squad rotation, like better options for him. And then we will see. And we will see what Ten Hag has got. But if you, like we said all along, it's going to come down to what he develops on the training ground. How can United score goals? We're going to have mistakes in us. It's in every single team. City were making mistakes against West Ham. But when you've got an absolute goal machine and the creative players that they've got in the forward line, you're never really worried if you can see the goal because you're always going to get that chance to score another one. That's the difference. Like, they have got De Bruyne, they have got Silva, they have got Haaland. Liverpool have got Salah, Jota, Núñez, Diaz, all of these players. You look at Arsenal, what have they got? They've got Martinelli, they've got Saka. They've got all of their forward players, Odegaard and everyone who chips in for them as well. Havertz. Look, everyone's got them goals in them. United don't. Even Newcastle, Isaac, Son for Tottenham. They've all got prolific goal scorers in their teams. United don't. And that is where everybody, I think, should be focusing their attention on Ten Hag as to why we haven't brought in a prolific goal scorer. Why were United not in the market for Osimhen's of this world or the bigger strikers that can actually score loads of goals? That's the questions that need to be asked. And I think that's what will end up tripping Ten Hag up. Because as solid as we are and as organised as we are, like we were against Brighton, we're going to make mistakes. And if you don't score goals at the other end, you're going to end up looking at that mistake and costing you the game like it did against Brighton, like the goals did against Liverpool. Jamal with the new membership. Thank you, Jamal. Absolute legend. Love that, pal. Welcome to the members club, my friend. Please make him welcome everyone who's already a member and mods in the chat. I'm going to come to your chat right now. I can't believe that's gone on for 15 minutes already. Let's see what crap we've got coming my way. I'm just going to randomly read these out, if they're bad or if they're good, in terms of how they're going at me. There's one straight away. What am I on? I don't know, mate. I can't tell you what I'm on because I'm on nothing. But, no, like, I've just read the report. We're talking Thomas Tuchel. We're talking Manchester United being organised as a football club. It's as simple as that. Get a grip. United for life, win, lose or draw, says Ben 777. Stephen Williams, Ten Hag is only concerned with getting Dutch players and back himself. Hit the like button, says Steve H. Yes, please do hit that like button, guys. Around about 700 in the room with us for the midday show. Thank you, everybody. Bruno talk about stating the obvious. Yeah. Bruno's a joke in himself. Needs to concentrate on his own performance, let alone the rest of the team. He's the captain. United spotlight. Ramos says, have you seen Lisandro Martinez post with McAllister right after the loss? Oh, honestly, it's like the international. This is why international football gets in the way. It does, because it puts players in awkward positions. It's like you've got Xerxes and De Ligt literally going over to train with Van Dijk, who was taking the piss out of their team. Like, why are we having international breaks at this? It's stupid. It doesn't half cause more issues than good, having international breaks at this stage of the season. I hate it. I hate it because it's like what the comment brings up there. Like, you're going to see pictures then of like United players mixing with Liverpool players, everyone laughing and joking around, and it's going to filter through social media and just ignite the negativity again with it and certain players. Well, what are they supposed to do? They're their international teammates. They have to get along. And yeah, football's changed on that side of things with internationals now in terms of the cliques that there used to be, certain clubs sticking together and all of that. It was rife with England, wasn't it, back in the day? But look, yeah, international games at this stage of the season are always going to cause problems. And definitely now that we've been battered by Liverpool and pictures like McAllister and Lisandro Martinez, I'm sure you'll see something with Van Dijk and Xerxes, like I said, after Van Dijk's comments after the game. It's just crap. It really is. The difference with Ferguson is that he stopped Rangers and Celtic in Scotland. We know we had a plan with Erik ten Hag, 2 seasons and no change. Bruno is correct. We can't win the league. He's part of the problem, says Gehan. A lot of people would agree with that as well. Ancelotti has a nice job. Why would he want to? Xabi is a Liverpool supporter and liking his job in Germany. Neither are interested in Man United. I think Guess was just replying to someone else in the chat there. What's we got in here, guys? There's a class of former players who are over-talking. The club will never go back in their time. No, they won't, but the standards definitely have to be upheld. They definitely do. We need the players to be hungry and commit to effort, plus being stronger in challenges for the ball, as too many pull out of challenges. God knows how Ten Hag is going to make them hungry. Look, it's like it goes back to the Liverpool game showed us one thing, which was Ralph Rangnick again making another clear point about Manchester United's team. The physicality. We are very weak. We were battered. We were outfought. We were nowhere near the strength and physicality of what Liverpool were, especially in that midfield. I felt sorry for Kobe at times. The game bypassed Casemiro. Kobe was doing work for about 3 players and just being battered in the end. You've seen the moments where I think it was Szoboszlai just shoving Collier off like he's nothing. He's just not filled out yet. He isn't physical enough. And United do lack that physicality in midfield. And it's another problem that we do need to address as well. By the way, the Sun are also reporting again on the left-back issue. The Sun and the MEN, as you can see in the tweet below, about United going back in for Anthony Robinson from Fulham at left-back in the January transfer window if they can. But how they raise that money, I do not know. If they've got that money already, I don't know. I really don't know. But, again, the reports coming up about United spending money in January, I think it's all because of the poor start. I've said it all along. We went through the whole transfer window. Everything was positive. But what did we say? It only counts if results work on the pitch. Manchester United run as a football club and only run right when the results on the pitch are right, because everything is balanced off the actual games and what Manchester United produce on the pitch. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. We're doing everything right off the pitch, but no one gives a toss about what Ineos have done, what improvements Manchester United are making to the academy. All anyone wants to talk about is what results are happening on the pitch and why the first team is so crap. It doesn't matter about anything. Everything else looks fantastic when the results are going great and you're performing. Everything looks fantastic, but right now, Manchester United, with what's happening on the pitch, is just going to override any conversation that's going on with anyone. And you have to be honest with yourself and say, look, until it's right on the pitch, really, even Ineos are going to come under scrutiny, even though they have done good business this summer. But I think, going back to the top story as well, again, just to finish that off, look, all you have to look at with Thomas Tuchel reports coming out from the Mirror, I'm not just bigging it up because I was shouting out for Tuchel last season. I still think he's a better manager than Ten Hag. That's just my own personal opinion. Everyone's got their own. A lot of people disagree with me. That's totally fine. It is. But all it is Manchester United now, having the right people in place, a proper football club and the way it's supposed to be run, they've got a contingency plan. They have to have one. It's just normal, people. Don't let it stress you out too much. Don't let it worry you that Ten Hag is going and Tuchel's coming in. If you are worried about that, United will be looking for other managers. They have to. Look, Ten Hag has got 1 year left in his contract. There's no way that Ineos are going to be looking to improve that contract if we don't perform to the right level after what investment has been given to United and that first team squad. We have bought half a new team, which helps Manchester United on the pitch. Like half a team of first team players, basically. We should be doing better. And like we said, we've got Euro to come back. We've got Agate to come back. So I think Ten Hag, I personally think he is more than safe going into December. And I'll say that now. I'll keep saying it as well. Like on the show last night, they were all saying to me, like, no, if it doesn't work out against Crystal Palace or Southampton and we lose to Spurs, then that's 5 games in a row that Manchester United haven't got a win. The records are starting to look even worse. If that happens, we'll be in the relegation zone. Is that enough then to sack him? I think we're all intrigued as to see what Ineos do if it does get worse. Because normally with Manchester United, the Woodward era, Arnold and Murto eras, it was all about Europe. It was all about being out of the Champions League. And while we're in the Europa League, we've got that chance of winning that cup and getting back in the Champions League. I just feel like Ineos are going to give him all of the time, as long as he's in that competition. Now, look, away to Porto. Right now, if you ask me, I don't think we win that game. Away to Fenerbahce. I don't think we win that game, going off of what I've seen so far. And if that happens, and it starts to get a bit dicey, I mean, if United do not automatically qualify for the Europa League and we have to go into that playoff, it's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace if we don't qualify in that top 8 out of the 36 teams. Like, you've seen the teams that are in it. If United are not in that, then good God, like, there's no hope for us at all. We should be topping that. And that should be the target. It's like, maybe they will pull the plug if he doesn't make that top 8, and that will be by December. The playoffs then will kick in February if we don't make top 8. Like, there's no way that United cannot qualify for the round of 16 in the Europa League. It is like an impossibility. They've made it the simplest process ever in getting through to the knockout stage of the Europa League. And I just don't see there being a world where United do not make it. There isn't. There isn't. And I think we've just got to accept that Ten Hag is going to be in as long as Champions League is on the table for us. I think that's what we have to look at. We have brought half a new team. However, he's trying to use something that has never worked. The system, it's not working. Why does he not change things? I don't know. It's just Ten Hag and his stubbornness in it. It is, in my opinion, Ten Hag should have been sacked based on his Champions League campaign alone. Do you know what? If Ineos were in situ at the start of last season, I think Ten Hag would have been gone or fallen out of Europe completely. I think that would have been too much. If Sir Jim Radcliffe and his big statement challenging in the Champions League and the Premier League and all that came in, then you're probably looking at him getting the sack. That's what it is. Okay, Adam, we have already hit disgrace levels under Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag has set some terrible records. I know. I'm trying to be balanced. Like, people think I've got an agenda against him. I'm just balancing everyone else's comments. Like, are you seeing what I do, guys? I go outside, I listen to other fans, I get as many opinions as possible, probably more than any other channel. Roll it all into one and then make a discussion about it. I mean, we cannot ignore what people are saying. We cannot ignore what's happening on the pitch. We cannot ignore the underperforming players. In terms of the wages, interesting one actually that came up. Swedish Ramble just went through the latest reports that were available in terms of Premier League wages. So wages paid in the Premier League in 2022 and 23. So two back is... Manchester United wages according to the media and Capology against actual wages UEFA landscape report, so the real one. So what was reported, United were paying 247 million in wages. We're actually paying 249, and this is where it gets built up by the media. It was they were saying that Chelsea were paying 226. The reality was they were paying 323 million. City were paying, apparently, the media were bigging City up to paying 199 million in wages. That's all right. The reality was 389 million in wages. Liverpool, 167 million was apparently the wage bill there. The real one was 304 million. Interesting, very interesting. But again, it just goes to, obviously, the media side of things and what was said, and how it's built up into something that it really probably isn't. Please keep liking the video, guys. Let's get that up at 300 likes before we finish the show. I wanted to talk about, obviously, the wages side of things as well, because there's more reports out about, obviously, everyone's moaning about how much Manchester United players are on. Everybody's moaning about how much of Jadon Sancho's wages Chelsea are actually paying and things like that. Look, Casemiro, for instance, is not a 350 grand a week wages man. He's not. It's official. The Athletic and Larry Whitwell have been talking about this as well, alongside what was said about Casemiro being outed pretty much in the tactics of Ten Hag last season. And that was that Casemiro's wages have dropped by £90,000. He's on 260 grand a week now wages. So this is why everything that is being reported on Bruno Fernandes' wages about him being the highest paid player at the club, it literally is because he has come in and got his new contract after the wage cut. So he probably is on more than anybody else right now because he's had his cut, but then he's got his new wage in over the top. So don't think that like Bruno Fernandes is on a lot more than everybody else. It's simply because everyone's had a wage cut. United's wage bill is way down. And them figures there from 22-23 are going to be even tighter for Manchester United now. The reality is they'll be even less because of everything that's been cut. And we've been underperforming. And we've got rid of a lot of deadwood. And we know there's 17 players leaving. And their replacements, we've had 7. So you've got 10 players off the books, completely off the books that we're earning. So you can count all of their wages up on what we've saved there. And the 7 players that came in and replaced the other 7 players that have left of note are all on less wages than what they were on, i.e. Euro for Varane. Obviously, he's on less wages and things like that. So United's books and balancing are definitely they're on the right track. Let's just say that. And I feel like United right now are moving in the right direction still. I still feel positive with the future of the football club. I just look at it and go, it's inevitable that if the results stay the same, then you're going to see Thomas Tuchel reports coming out. You're going to see probably other managers being linked with Manchester United. There's going to be a lot more going on by the time December comes. And like I said, I feel like the Europa League is the essential thing for Ten Hag. And I'm only saying that because of how he is and how he actually looks at the Premier League and makes us try and ignore what's actually going on. No one's going to fall for it. And I just look at it and go, Eric's really sort of digging himself a hole if he keeps saying these things that he does regarding the trophies. He's just not going to lie. And look, at the end of the day, it will be what will be. And Ten Hag will be sacked if he doesn't perform. Ineos won't think twice about it. There's too much money been invested, and the stories are always going to be there. People there like that. You loving this, Adam, aren't you? Tuchel was my choice since he left Chelsea. Look, no, I don't love Man United underperforming. That's what people get me mixed up with. I like other managers. I just, like I said before in the early morning show, I don't think that Ten Hag will ever lift the Premier League trophy as Manchester United manager. He'll be gone before that comes. Can he get us back in the Champions League? Yes, he can. I do believe he can do. He's done it before. So the proof is there. He can do it. And all we need right now, we're realistic, is we need to be in the top 4 or winning the Europa League. That's what Ten Hag needs to do this season. And I think then he will just get another year on the contract that he's on, and they will just see out that year. And I think Ineos will automatically move on in another 2 years anyway. That's what will happen. Or they may even, do you know what? I said it before, I said it last night. Don't put it past Ineos. Ten Hag gets Champions League football and then still gets moved on. Don't think or he'll probably definitely get moved on the following season anyway. I just don't think they've got any. I don't think they've got any plan unless he really surprises them. I think he is the manager that takes United to that next level, but there's a level above that we need someone else for. And that's going to be key when that happens. So just to clarify everything, Manchester United are definitely, this is 100% definitely, going to be keeping Ten Hag in situ until it is mathematically impossible that we don't make the Champions League. I just feel it. I just think he'll get the Europa League and he'll win a few Premier League games in between just to keep his head above water, and then Ineos will pull the plug off the back of what happens in terms of United being in Champions League next season or not. They may even pull the plug early if they feel like there's a chance to get Champions League top 4 still if another manager comes in and we get a bounce. I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is. We're dealing with people in Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada and Wilcox as well. Like, they have worked at big clubs before, but I don't think they've worked at a big club that's in this much turmoil. So this is all new for them as well. So that's what we also have to take into consideration. And I think it's important to remember that this is new to everyone at Manchester United right now. Every single member of staff at United, barring Erik ten Hag, isn't used to this pressure. Like, he is. He should know. And hopefully people can help him out this season and he can turn it around. But again, I just don't see it in him. I don't. In the chat right now is your chat. We've got a brand new prize going with our partners on Football Prizes, guys. I haven't got the image for you, but I've just put the link in the actual live chat, guys. Click on that Football Prizes link. There are tickets to win to every single home game in the Europa League on this one draw, and a double-signed, framed, fully authenticated Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo shirt actually up for grabs. It's worth a fortune. Get your tickets now. There is an early bird price going as well on that. Just click on that link and just get your tickets there. That's right at the top of the live chat right now, guys. So get on that. That courtesy of Football Prizes, our partners here on Forever United TV. And yeah, just to, like I said, to round it up, I just look at everything really going exactly the way I expected it to. With a proper football structure in place, when the results are bad, obviously, you're going to get rumours coming out. If everything's all right, no one even talks about it. But what always goes on behind the scenes is conversations about if things don't work out. They have to. And that's what's important to remember. We need to be on the ball when it comes to actually being real with everything. And I think just looking at the situation as it is, Ten Hag will still get time. Do I think he's going to get sacked in the next 2 months? No, I don't. I definitely don't. Other people do, but I just, like I said, I think there's a lot of games with Ten Hag to try and actually get himself out of this hole yet. And he's got 2 of his key signings this summer that were made, the 2 biggest signings he made, still to come back into this team. So it's up to him to figure out how United score goals. Like, Yoro and Agate will help us defensively. But still, there's only so much pressure you can take. When you're not scoring goals at the other end, like I said many a times, the pressure on the defence is going to keep on coming and mounting and mounting and mounting. And eventually, one will go in and then United are stuck. It's like we said last season. Unless United score the first goal, United are in trouble. There is no plan B. No plan B at all. So, yeah, that I feel, is where it's all coming. Let's get into the chat anyway. Chris P. Hackett says, Spurs and Villa have better managers. The jury is out on Maresca so far. This squad is not that good. If United finish higher than last season, I'd be amazed. He's better than last season's, mate. That there. I mean, you look at the players we brought in. We are better than what we was last season. We really are. We've got better players in, I feel. And it's down to Ten Hag to make the most of him. He has to win against Southampton, Villa, Palace, Spurs, Chelsea and Brentford. That's the only way you're keeping him, Trigger, yeah? Bab says, such a shame we all had such great hopes for the season. Look, the season's not over yet. Season is not over yet. It's 3 games in. I just know that nothing is going to change in terms of a playing style. Like, look, can some of these players actually turn up? I look at Ten Hag right now. Can he get more out of Rashford? He has to. Otherwise, he's doomed. He's his only hope for scoring goals. Like Rasmus Højlund coming back. He is on the return now as well. So hopefully he will get better and come back stronger. And he will definitely be a help for Manchester United in the coming months as well. Obviously, we talked about Yoro, Malacia, Shaw and Agate to come back into this side at some point. They will definitely help, but you've got to take into consideration there are teams in this league that are actually better organised and better than us already. And if he doesn't win the games against the likes of Southampton and Crystal Palace, can you really see him beating Newcastle away where he's got a shocking record? Can we do the double on Villa again? Was that a fluke last season? We've shown in individual games that we can actually turn up. Like doing the double over Villa, beating City in the final, beating Liverpool at home. Like we have got games in us. But we have to be beating the bigger teams as well. And we have to be beating teams more consistently, I feel. I just don't see United winning 3 games in a row, and that's the problem. That's what we need to do. Like, just getting 3 wins in a row is like a chore for United these days. And that's the sad state and what we're in. So, really, you've got to be honest with yourself and say, look, unless he does come back, win the next 3 games in the Premier League before the international break, which is Palace, Southampton and Spurs. He's got to obviously beat Barnsley, which he should do, and the Europa League games as well. If he struggles in them, then the knives are being sharpened even more. And some fans have actually said, look, like that's it. That's the end of the line. Some are saying that he's got to go now. Like we did a poll the other day, and there was a big chunk of people that said, look, I know it was raw and straight after the Liverpool game, but he's got to go now. A lot of people were saying it, but really, again, I'll go back to it. I think he has got a bit more time with Ineos, with everything that's going on. So let's see. Where is plan B? He doesn't have one, does he? I know. But Lee, I'm just trying to balance it out. That's all I'm trying to do. Ineos give players 2 seasons. What about managers? They won't sack him, but he has to find a system that brings goals. I don't think he's got it in him. I think he's still hoping that one of these players turns up and bails him out. There's never been a complete performance under Ten Hag. The best performances I've seen was around the first season he was in charge. 22, 23, around the final with Newcastle time. Like we beat Barcelona with 2 great performances. We beat Leicester in between them games as well. I think 3-0. It was a great game as well. And then we beat Newcastle in the final without breaking a sweat. Completely dominated Eddie Howe's side. That was the best that I've seen under Ten Hag, and I've not seen it since. We've been shit. We really have. And we've just took advantage of certain moments in games. Look, we've never scored more than 4 goals in a game under Ten Hag, ever. There are other clubs way down the league that have managed that. We just don't score the goals, do we? And someone tell me what was the perfect full performance from United in a game. Like, when have we played a full 90 minutes under Ten Hag? We haven't. Mr. Dacia Sandero. Hi, Adam. The overall quality at the club is is lopsided, where some of the players are on the decline or are not up to it. I also believe Erik ten Hag will be replaced by Ruud van Nistelrooy. Erik just looks out of his depth. He just got that look about him. He does, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Anyway, guys, that is the video done. I just wanted to give you an update on the midday show with everything going on, as we always do. I will be back later on this evening at 6:30 as always. Make sure you tuned in for that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure that you give the video a like on the way out. Let's get that over 300 likes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the show this midday. I'll be back later on. Have a fantastic afternoon. And whatever you're up to, have a good one. I will see you all later on.